We're back with our coverage from Greenbuild 2015 from Washington, D.C. for Healthy Indoors Magazine. Here today with us is Paul Scialla.
How are you?
I'm good.
Great.
I'm good. It's great to see you.
Likewise.
Thanks for coming by, Paul.
Of course.
What we'd like to speak with you about is the well building certification.
Yes. Yep.
New program seems to get a lot of traction in the industry.
It's getting a lot of pickup. We launched the well building standard about a year ago at Greenbuild. We are now seeing projects in 12 countries, over 200 projects to date. Commercial office, multifamily residential, schools. So it's very exciting.
Excellent. Now the well building certification is geared towards commercial, but also other properties as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot of focus on commercial square footage, but as mentioned, multifamily residential pilots and commercial kitchen retail, schools. So basically, any four walls and a roof can be passively infused with preventative medical intentions, and that's the whole point of the standard.
And that really is what differentiates it from other green
Yeah,
certifications.
it's a perfect complement to green building. We have many projects that have a LEED baseline, for instance, or other green rating baselines, and there's only about a 15% overlap between most of the green building rating systems out there, like LEED and WELL. So where green building begins the conversation about the human condition, well building really advances that.
And it seems like that's a component of built environments. It's critical, right? I mean, because we're really concerned about where we're living.
We are spending 90% of our time indoors, our homes, our offices, our hotels, our schools, and we felt that to date there wasn't a meaningful enough study done on how any built environment is impacting the human condition. Even where we're sitting right now is impacting our cardiovascular health, respiratory health, immune health, sleep health. So the well building standard is a wonderful way to look at those impacts.
Give us a little more insight into really what's encompassed
Yeah.
within that standard.
Yeah, the standard has 7 broad categories: air, light, water, nourishment, fitness, comfort, and mind. This looks at how both building design and operations are impacting the occupants and the people inside.
Excellent. And I'm assuming it's a fairly stringent certification to get through?
It is. It's output and performance based, so it's not necessarily prescriptive where you just follow a set of guidelines or checklists. Actually, GBCI, U.S. Green Building Council's certifying engine, actually independently validates and audits where air quality is tested, water quality, circadian lux levels, to make sure that the spatial conditions are optimal for human health.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah,
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's exciting.
And I think it's long overdue. It seems like we've spent the last 50 to 100 years finding ways to close ourselves off from a natural environment and a healthy environment.
Yeah.
And at least we're coming around.
It's very well said. I mean, for tens of thousands of years, we were connected with nature. We would be outside. It wasn't, for the last several thousand years, we started building these boxes around ourselves and spending most of our time indoors, but more particularly, to your point, the last 100 years since the invention of artificial light, we have had a really imbalanced circadian rhythm. We're getting way too little light during the day. The natural light, the sky that we're supposed to be exposed to, we're not getting. And at light, we're getting way too much light. Any light in the evening is not conducive to optimal health. It's actually unnatural. So the WELL standard looks at elements of circadian appropriate lighting, and how different color, lux, temperature of light can enter your circadian optic nerve and balance the right hormones for sleep and productivity. So we're trying to return to more of that caveman mentality in a sense, I think, yeah.
Which is interesting because I think classically, certainly in my time in the environmental industry the last 30 years, it really has been almost coming full circle.
Yeah.
I'm seeing in the last 20, 30 years. So the WELL standard seems like it's a really great step in the right direction.
I think it's time. We spent about 5 years, a heavy vetting process, academic, medical, political vetting. What was really interesting in the initial process, we got doctors and architects in the same room and asked them, okay, if you had to dream it up, what types of things could we do to introduce preventative medical intentions into the way we design spaces? And we recognized pretty much instantly that architects and doctors never had a meaningful conversation before, which was pretty staggering. If we're designing for the human condition, we probably should have good knowledge as to what is optimal for us.
So your background, I mean, you came up with this idea, or you
Yeah.
and a team.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, what was the impetus for it?
This was around 2006. I started to take note of the use of the word sustainability in real estate, primarily focused on environmental impact. And I don't know, I just questioned that makes perfect sense, but what about all the people inside these buildings? Can we also focus on human or biological sustainability in the built environment? Did some work, recognized the beginnings of that conversation with green building, but also recognized that this needed to be advanced.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. So, looking forward,
Yep.
I mean, obviously, a lot of building space is taking a
It's
look
everywhere.
at it.
Real estate's
Um,
everywhere.
How do you see the well standard as far as its continued progress and in the adoption process? In getting incorporated into commercial projects and residential projects throughout the world.
We're working with a lot of Fortune 100 companies on their corporate campuses. We're seeing great evidence that the premium to build well certified is staggeringly lower than you would think. In most cases, less than a 1% premium to normal
Wow.
construction. So these are more intelligent and informed decisions, not necessarily more expensive decisions. So our hope is, as green building becomes normal, and hopefully in a decade, if we all do our jobs, green building, you're not going to hear those words anymore. It's just going to
Those
be
building.
right? Kind of like when the color TV came out. It was a color TV for a year, and then it was just a TV. Our hope is that well building is that next conversation in sustainability. It's a perfect complement, very relevant to end users, very relevant to anyone. Where you're sending your kids to a school or building a home, which you'd like to see in your home, or obviously your employees, getting productivity from them, attraction, retention, what have you. So I guess the hope is in a decade or two or what have you, we can look back and say, remember when we didn't consider the human condition when we were building these spaces that we're spending 90% of our time in? So if well building becomes normal, then we've done our job.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting. How would people find out more about the well building? Standard?
Wellcertified.com. You can download the entire well standard for free. It's a fascinating read.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Paul, thank you so very much
Thank
for stopping
you.
by with us.
Great.
Our coverage of Green Build 2015 here in Washington, D.C. will continue. I'm Bob Krell for Healthy Indoors Magazine.